Hello, 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 hello. How are you this evening? We're here once again for story time with Paul B. My name is Brian K. McNeill, aka the Sales Confidence Coach, also aka also known as Paul B. My friends for years have told me that I'd probably be a great grandfather because I have all of these stories that I've accumulated over the years in my career as a speaker and as a sales trainer and as a sales coach. And a little while ago, I thought it might be fun to share some of these stories with you, my entrepreneurial friends. To you, my new friends, story time with Paul B, and I'm enjoying it. And tonight I got a good one. Now, normally I'm telling a useful fiction story, but tonight I'm actually telling another nonfiction story, a story of something that actually happened in the world that a lot of people find inspiration in. It's the story of Mr. Derek Redmond. Derek Redmond. So let's cue the music.
Hey, yeah, come through, everybody come see. Story time with Paul B. Yeah. If entertainment is what you need, story time with Paul B. Yeah. Interesting, entertaining for sure. Stories for adults, parents to entrepreneurs. Got you laughing, you won't have a good time. Still educational, this is what you want now. Come through, everybody come see. Story time with Paul B. Yeah. If entertainment is what you need, story time with Paul B.
Let's go. All right, here we are. Tonight, I'm going to tell the story of Mr. Derek Redmond. Derek Redmond was a world-class sprinter. He was qualified for the Olympics. He had trained his whole life, and his dream was to win a gold medal in Olympic Games. And he worked hard as he could, and he was fast, and he was really qualified. He got great coaching. He would work out early in the morning and all throughout the day, and he dedicated his whole life to his mission of making the Olympic team. He actually wasn't US, he was British. He wanted to make the Olympic team, and he did it. He accomplished his goal. He made the 1988 US Olympic team. Now, in the Olympics, he made the team, and he got a chance to go to the Olympics. And on his very first race at the Olympics, and he was getting ready to run his first race, as he was stretching out to run his first race, and the race that he had worked his whole life to get to. As he was stretching out his legs and stretching out right there on the track, he pulled his Achilles tendon. He injured himself stretching out, and he couldn't race that race. And that required a long rehabilitation process. He tore his Achilles tendon. He was devastated. But he healed from that race. And he worked out again, and he applied himself, because since he didn't get to qualify for the 88 Olympics, but he didn't get a chance to run. But he was still consumed by this mission. So the next Olympics, 4 years later, the 1992 Olympics, he had prepared himself, worked out, got trained, got coached well, and he actually made the Olympic team again in 1992. And this time, that's all he dreamed about, was to win a gold medal at the Olympics. And this time, on his very first race, Derek Redmond gets into the starting blocks next to other world-class runners. And on your mark, get set, they fired the gun, pow, and Derek took off running. And he was in the lead. And as he was in the lead, he pulled his hamstring muscle, and it tumbled him over, and he fell to the ground in agony. The runners were going on. He was on the ground. He knew he wasn't going to win. He attempted to get up, but his hamstring was gone. His right hamstring was gone, and he couldn't stand up on his own. And he was on the ground, and he was crying, and he was trying to get up. And as he looked up into the stands, he saw this large man throwing security guards aside. This man was grabbing security guards and just tossing them. And security guards was trying to stop him, and he was tossing security guards out of the way. And he knew right away that that man was his dad. His dad, big guy, tossing security guards all the way down to the track. He tossed enough security guards out of the way that he made it to the track. And he ran over to where his son was. His son's still on the ground. And he helps his son up, and his son is on one leg. And he still hadn't said anything to his dad. He was just trying to make it to the finish of the race. And his dad says, "Son, you don't have to do this." And he said, "Dad, yes, I do. I have to do this." And he says, "Son, if you have to do it, I'm going to do it with you." So his dad puts his son's arm around his shoulders and hands around his waist, and Derek hops the rest of the race to the finish line. Now, as Derek was hopping, the crowd seeing what happened, everyone started to cheer Derek. And his face was still distraught. He didn't even care about the cheers. He just wanted to finish that race. And he hopped, and his dad helped him. And he made it to the finish line, and he crossed the finish line. Derek Redmond had accomplished his goal. Now, everyone that saw that moment saw that man get injured and hurt, but get up anyway. And he made it with the help of his dad. Now, I like that story a lot. And the way I look at that story is that life will sometimes knock you down. But if you will look up, you will have a heavenly Father who will get there for you and help you finish the race. Some of us are blessed to have earthly fathers or friends or loved ones that will embrace us when we fall and help us to finish the race. My name is Brian K. McNeill. This has been Storytime with Paw B. I encourage you to find your own meaning in these stories. Share these stories if you find value in it. Share these stories on your Facebook. Share these stories on your LinkedIn. I'm going to be here again tomorrow with another story, a useful fiction story. Story time with Paw B. I pray that you found value in this story tonight.
Yeah, come through, everybody come see. Story time with Paw B. Yeah. If entertainment is what you need, story time with Paw B. Yeah. Interesting, entertaining for sure. Stories for adults, parents to entrepreneurs. Got you laughing, you gonna have a good time. Still educational, this is what you want now. Come through, everybody come see. Story time with Paw B.
Yeah.
If entertainment is what you need.
Story time with Paw B. Let's go. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. I do enjoy these stories. Again, please feel free to share them. I will be back tomorrow with another story that I think has a point. And you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening.